degrees. If it's 5 degrees, then it's 0, 0, 5 degrees. That's compass bearing. That's three-figure bearing for you, right? So each time when you're dealing with these, right, I'm gonna give you an example. We'll start with three-figure bearing. Okay, I'll give you both answers in both a compass or three-figure bearing, right? Let's have an example here. Example, right? Let's say I have point A here, right? So each time when you're dealing with the bearing, make sure that you always draw the north line or the north pole. So I'm going to have my north pole. This is point A. Okay, right, this is my north pole here. That's north, right? And then we have point B somewhere here. That's point B. And then we told, right, that maybe this angle is let's say 120 degrees. 120 degrees, right? The question wants you to find, right, first the three-figure bearing of B from A. Three-figure bearing from B from A, right? Find three-figure bearing of B from A. So make sure that you always take note of this, right? We call it the reference point. All right, we call it the reference point. This one, this is our reference point. That's your starting point. So in both points you must always draw the north lines, right? So I'm going to come here again and have my north line there. I'll prefer to use a dotted line because this is something that I'm adding on to the diagram which was not there. You can always extend these lines as well and have something like that, right? So this is my north pole there. All right, we want the three-figure bearing of B from A. That means you are measuring your angle from A. All your angles are measured from A, right? So if you start from the north pole and move in a clockwise direction, so this is my north line, I move all the way up to that line going to point B. So you can see that this angle is actually 120 degrees. So that's quite simple. So this means our answer here is 120 degrees. That's the three-figure bearing. So if I ask you to find the three-figure bearing now, find three-figure bearing of A from B. So what you simply need to do is to try and fill in these angles around here, around B, right? We already know that, okay, these are parallel lines, the north line and the north line, they are both parallel. And if we check this angle here and this one there, we call them co-interior angles or allied angles in parallel lines. So that means we can actually add and give us, they can add and give us 180 degrees. So this means this angle is actually 60 degrees there. All right, and of course this is a straight line, or you can use alternate angles. This is also 120 degrees there. So if I want the three-figure bearing of A from B, remember you measure the three-figure bearing from the north line at that particular point, the reference point. So our reference point is B now. So we're going to move in a clockwise direction until we reach a line going to A. All right, so we're moving all the way up to that point. Okay, so how much is this angle now? We have a straight line here. This is 180 degrees. So that means we are adding 180 degrees plus 120 degrees. This will give us how much? Sure, this is 300, right? 300 degrees. So our answer in this case is 300 degrees. That's how you deal with the three-figure bearing. Okay, so now let's talk about compass bearing. Compass bearing, I'm going to go back to the first one. This one, maybe we can call it question A and this is question B, right? The compass bearing. Now what we need to do, we already have those angles. We ask ourselves, do we have an angle which is less than 90 degrees there? No. You can see that from this point to that point is 120. So using a straight line, it means here we have, right, 60 degrees there. So for compass bearing, that means we are going to measure from the south of A, okay, in this direction. We are moving towards which? This is east and this is west. All right, so that means our answer is, for part A, south 60 degrees east. That's your answer. All right, and then when we look at part B, right, we can't go from south. We have to measure in this direction towards that line. So we're measuring from the north 60 degrees to the west. That's the compass bearing. So this is how you deal with bearing. But then now we need to understand that bearing doesn't just come on its own in most of the question papers. Normally it's associated with triangles, sine rule, cosine rule, trigonometric ratios as well. So this is just the introduction. This is just the basis of it. Right, I'm going to give you another example. Right, normally some of the examples they're given as statements. Some of the questions they're given as statements. For instance, let's say we have something like this. Right, so we can call it example 2. Right, the bearing of P from Q is 050 degrees. Okay, find, right, I'm going to use both, right, the 3-figure bearing of Q from P, and then B, the compass bearing of Q from P again. Right, so where do we start? We start from what we're given. All right, what is our reference point from what we're given? Our reference point is Q. So you start by drawing or marking point Q. So our point Q is here. This is where point Q is. At Q, we are going to draw our north line. All right, this is the north pole. Right, we're given what kind of bearing is this? This is a 3-figure bearing. So that means you're measuring 50 degrees away from Q from the north pole in a clockwise direction. So we go maybe somewhere up to there. So that means the line going to P is here. It's this one. So this angle is 50 degrees there. So that means angle P is there. So at P there, we are going to also draw another north line. Right, you can extend down there, you can extend down here. Then the next thing that we do, we try to use parallel lines to fill in the gaps. So if alternate angles here, this is 50 degrees. This would be 130 degrees there, using co-interior or allied angles. Right, now let's answer part A. 3-figure bearing of Q from P. So remember, 3-figure you measure from the north line, so you're starting from there all the way up to this point. All right, so this is 180 degrees plus 50 degrees. So if you add 180 plus 50, what do we get? 230 degrees. The good thing is that it's coming out with 3 digits, so we leave it like that. And then the compass bearing now, you can't measure from the north in an anti-clockwise direction. You can only measure from the south of P, right, in a clockwise direction. So you know this is east and this is west. That means we have our answer as south 50 degrees to the west. Okay, that's how you deal with this one. So in my next video, I'm going to bring in a question paper where we apply bearing, probably in triangles. All right, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.